Dunno about you, but I did not expect Mass Effect Legendary Edition to happen, at least not now. The era of remasters for that console generation has passed, and EA were clearly content with just selling the original versions of the games as is, with DLC sold separately at a premium. But something happened. Maybe it was the failure of Mass Effect Andromeda, which wasn't as horrendous as some say, but it was nowhere near the quality of the original trilogy, even at its worst. Maybe the failure of Anthem. Do you remember that game even? Either way, the remastered and in all but the name Ultimate Edition of the first 3 Mass Effect games is here, and while just like Miranda it's not perfect, this is the edition to play. In this video I will cover only the Legendary Edition and its qualities, as I've already covered the original titles only a few years ago in a video and a series of retrospective reviews, and the games are as good and as worth playing as they were before, so let's see how this edition improves on that.
There's nothing this galaxy can't beat if we all work together. Except the Reapers. Ever see the size of one of those things?
The first thing that you will probably notice when starting the fresh journey as your Commander Shepard is how the original game has been updated. Apart from the visual look that has been updated to be more in line with how the second and the third games looked, there are countless tweaks, changes and updates that make the game undeniably better. The combat feels far less bullet spongy, with the infamous "enemy is everywhere!" and the enemy barks finally decreased in frequency. Leveling up with the updated shortened scaling feels far less tedious, though you can keep the original 60 level cap system. Running outside combat actually speeds your movement up, elevator rides can be skipped, and even if not, they're much shorter than they used to be even in the original PC release. Movement on foot and inside the Mako has been tweaked and feels more responsive, the character creator is consistent with later games, countless bugs and well-known inconsistencies were fixed, the list goes on and on. A huge welcome for all the games on PC is the ability to switch from keyboard and mouse to controller, something so important that I personally know several people who chose to play the console release simply because they liked how it worked with the controller, even though playing on PC would have been an easier and a cheaper option for them. All the games now support HDR2, though I couldn't test that properly on my monitor. Heck, even the old PC save games for the second and the third games are compatible with this new release, so you can keep your old characters. All of the original single-player DLCs but one were included as well, now sprinkled throughout the games in a natural way, so even some of the weird cross-promotion armor types or weapons for the second and third game are simply sold in shops or found during the gameplay. And even though some of them are weaker in quality than the others, it's a wonderful chance to experience them if you haven't before, especially the fantastic Citadel DLC that essentially serves as a true send-off to the trilogy. The consistency between games is a bit of a downgrade too, however, since the original port of Mass Effect by Demiurge had a few minor but wonderful quality of life features for keyboard and mouse controls that were removed in later ports. And this updated version works like the later titles did, not like the original. Plus, personally, I always loved the heavy film grain effect on the original title, and it's a shame that it's not available even as an option, instead having a much finer and less noticeable grain. Big single-player mission from this collection is the Pinnacle Station DLC for the original Mass Effect. Originally developed by Demiurge, who handled the PC port, it was a combat arena DLC with an additional bonus of a personal apartment outside Normandy, but the source code to it has been long lost, so the only way to play it is with the original 360 release or the PC version of the game. That said, while it had some unique content, it was a very poor DLC, and in all of my personal countless playthroughs of the game, I've only played it once. All of the good ideas from it has been since recreated in a far better way in Citadel DLC.
Towers of Hanoi? I don't think so.
I am assuming direct control.
It's a shame that not all of the bugs have been fixed. In fact, while playing, I've encountered a couple of new ones too. The character animations could get stuck, the head-turning animations were so aggressive that necks were completely twisted, and biotic powers in the second and third games could often break the game with you or enemies getting stuck in the air. There are updates coming, so hopefully this will be fixed. What is the biggest disappointment, however, is that the game on PC is tied to Origin instead of being DRM-free. For a classic like this, it's bizarre to still have it attached to an online service that might break one day, especially now that the games have been improved so much, and that is despite the fact that the wonderful multiplayer aspect of Mass Effect 3 has been cut as well. All things said, the original Mass Effect trilogy remains amazing, and even though I've spent dozens of hours playing these games in their original iterations just a few years ago, I was just as excited and happy to play the games once again with the new Commander Shepard. These games should be played, and Legendary Edition is a wonderful way to do it.
Shepard, everybody knows you can't dance.